Hello again, lovely to have you with me. I'm Mary, and welcome back. In our last chat, we journeyed through the landscape of the IELTS exam itself, what it is, its different parts, and who it's for. And now, perhaps you're standing there map in hand thinking, okay, I understand the destination, but how on earth do I actually prepare for this journey? What are the best paths to take? If that sounds like you, then you're in exactly the right place today. Preparing for a significant exam like IELTS can feel like training for a marathon. It requires dedication, the right strategies, and a clear understanding of what you're aiming for. It's not just about knowing English. It's about knowing how to showcase your English within the specific framework of the test. So today, we're going to roll up our sleeves and talk practically, and I hope inspiringly, about how you can prepare for the IELTS exam in the best possible way. My goal is to equip you with insights, tips, and a sense of confidence that you can do this and do it well. So let's explore together the art and science of IELTS preparation. The very first step on any successful preparation journey is to understand the starting point and the destination. What does this mean for IELTS? Well, firstly, it means getting a realistic sense of your current English language proficiency. Where are you strong? Where might you need a little more work? Taking a good quality diagnostic test, perhaps an official practice test under timed conditions, can be incredibly revealing. It gives you a baseline. Secondly, what's your target band score? Different universities, employers, or immigration authorities require different scores. Knowing your specific target helps you gauge the distance you need to travel and the intensity of preparation required. Once you have a sense of where you are and where you need to go, the next crucial step is to know the test inside out. We touched on this in our last session, but for preparation, this understanding needs to be deep. This means knowing the format of each section, listening, reading, writing, and speaking, like the back of your hand. How many questions are there? How much time do you have for each? What types of questions or tasks will you face? For example, knowing that the listening test recordings are played only once fundamentally changes how you approach practice. Understanding that reading task 1 academic requires you to describe visual data, while general training task 1 is a letter, dictates very different preparation paths. The more familiar you are with the structure and demands of the test, the less likely you are to be surprised on exam day, and the more effectively you can allocate your study time. Now let's talk about crafting your personal study plan. This isn't a one-size-fits-all situation. Your plan will depend on your current English level, your target score, and how much time you have before your test date. Be realistic. If you need to improve by 2 whole band scores and only have a month, that's a very different scenario to needing a half-band improvement with 3 months to prepare. Consistency is far more powerful than last-minute cramming. Aim for regular, focused study sessions rather than long, exhausting ones where your concentration wanes. Even 30-60 minutes of focused study each day can be incredibly effective. And what should you study with? Gathering the right resources is key. Prioritize official IELTS preparation materials, like the Cambridge IELTS practice tests books. These contain genuine past papers and are invaluable. There are also many reputable websites, apps, and supplementary books. And if I may, channels like our very own EducFlow offer a wealth of tips, strategies, and practice exercises tailored to help you succeed. The key is to find resources that are accurate, up-to-date, and suit your learning style. Once you have your resources, create a balanced schedule. Don't just focus on your favorite skill or the one you find easiest. Allocate time for all 4 skills: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. And also dedicate time specifically to building your vocabulary and strengthening your grammar, as these underpin success in all areas. Okay, let's dive into some skill-specific preparation strategies, because each section of the IELTS requires a slightly different approach. Let's start with listening. The goal here is to train your ear and your focus. How can you do this? Immerse yourself in English. Listen to a wide variety of English, not just IELTS practice recordings, podcasts on topics that interest you, news broadcasts, university lectures available online, documentaries. All of these will expose you to different accents, speeds of delivery, and vocabulary. The more you listen, the better your comprehension will become. Practice with different accents. Remember, IELTS uses a range of accents: British, Australian, American, Canadian, New Zealander, so make sure your listening practice includes this variety. Master the question types. The listening test has various question types: multiple choice, note completion, map labeling, matching. Practice each type specifically. For example, when practicing note completion, learn to predict the kind of word that's missing: a noun, a number, a date. When you're doing map labeling, get used to directional language: on the left, opposite, behind, etc. Develop note-taking skills, if helpful. While you write answers directly for most questions, for longer monologues like in section 4, being able to jot down key phrases can be useful, especially if you're doing the paper-based test and have that transfer time. Simulate test conditions. When you do practice listening tests, listen to each recording only once. No pausing, no rewinding. This builds your concentration and mimics the real exam experience. Focus on keywords. Train yourself to listen for keywords in the questions and then listen for synonyms or paraphrases of those keywords in the recording. Moving on to reading. This section is often a race against time, so efficiency is paramount. Develop your skimming and scanning skills. Skimming is reading quickly to get the general idea or gist of a text. Scanning is looking for specific information, like names, dates, or numbers. Both are essential for IELTS reading. Practice by timing yourself reading articles and then summarizing the main idea or finding specific facts. Build your vocabulary actively. A strong vocabulary is your best friend in the reading test. Don't just memorize lists of words. Learn words in context. When you encounter a new word, look it up. Understand its meaning. See how it's used in a sentence. And perhaps note down any synonyms or antonyms. Flashcards, vocabulary apps, and keeping a vocabulary notebook can all be very effective. Understand the question types deeply. Questions like true, false, not given, or yes, no, not given can be tricky. Not given means the information isn't in the text, which is different from it being false. Matching headings to paragraphs requires you to understand the main idea of each paragraph. Practice these specific types until you feel confident. Manage your time ruthlessly. You have 60 minutes for 40 questions and 3 texts for academic or a series of texts for general training. This means you have roughly 1.5 minutes per question, including reading time. Don't get bogged down on one difficult question. If you're stuck, make an educated guess. There's no negative marking, and move on. You can always come back if you have time. Read widely. For academic, get used to reading academic-style texts from journals, textbooks, or reputable online sources. For general training, read a variety of everyday texts like articles, official documents, and workplace communications. Now for the writing section. This is where many students feel challenged, but with a structured approach, you can make great progress. Understand the assessment criteria. Remember, your writing is marked on task achievement for task 1 or task response for task 2, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, and grammatical range and accuracy. Knowing what the examiners are looking for will guide your practice. For task 1, academic, you'll be describing visual information. Practice analyzing different types of charts, graphs, tables, and diagrams. Learn the specific vocabulary for describing trends: increase, decrease, fluctuate, plateau, making comparisons, and describing processes. Structure your report logically. An introduction that paraphrases the task, an overview of the main trends or features, and then detailed paragraphs describing the specifics. Aim for at least 150 words. For task 1, general training. This is a letter. Practice writing different types of letters. Formal, e.g., to a company. Semi-formal, e.g., to a landlord. And informal, e.g., to a friend. Pay attention to the correct tone, opening and closing salutations, and make sure you cover all the points mentioned in the task prompt. Again, at least 150 words. For task 2, both modules. This is an essay, and it carries more weight than task 1. Practice different essay types: opinion essays, agree, disagree, discussion essays, discuss both views, problem-solution essays, and advantage-disadvantage essays. Always plan your essay before you start writing. Spend 5 to 7 minutes brainstorming ideas and creating a simple outline. This will make your essay much more coherent and well-structured. Structure is key. A typical essay structure includes an introduction, paraphrase the question, and state your thesis or outline. Body paragraphs, each developing a main idea with supporting points and examples, and a conclusion. Summarize your main points and restate your position. Develop your arguments. Don't just state opinions. Support them with reasons, explanations, and examples. Use linking words and phrases. To improve coherence and cohesion, use transition words like however, furthermore, in contrast. As a result, to connect your ideas smoothly. Aim for a good range of vocabulary and grammar. Try to use precise vocabulary and vary your sentence structures. Write at least 250 words. Get feedback. If possible, have your practice essays and letters reviewed by a teacher or someone proficient in English who understands the IELTS criteria. This feedback is invaluable for identifying areas for improvement. You can also find great model answers and analysis on channels like EducateFlow to compare with your own work. Practice under timed conditions. It's crucial to get used to writing within the 20-minute task 1 and 40-minute task 2 time limits. And finally, let's talk about preparing for the speaking test. This is your chance to have a real conversation. Practice speaking English regularly. The more you speak, the more fluent you'll become. Talk to friends, join conversation groups, or even talk to yourself in English. Try to think in English too. It helps reduce translation time in your head. Expand your everyday vocabulary and idiomatic language. Listen to how native speakers use language naturally, and try to incorporate new phrases and idioms into your own speech, but only if you understand them and can use them correctly. Work on your pronunciation. The goal is clarity, not a specific accent. Focus on clear enunciation of individual sounds, correct word stress, sentence stress, and natural intonation. Recording yourself and listening back can be very helpful here. You might be surprised by what you hear, but practice all 3 parts of the test. For part 1, practice talking about familiar topics like your hobbies, work, studies, hometown, family. Aim to extend your answers beyond simple yes or no replies. For part 2, the long turn. This needs specific practice. Take different cue card topics. Give yourself 1 minute to prepare, jotting down keywords, not full sentences, and then speak for 1 to 2 minutes. Time yourself. Focus on structuring your talk around the prompts on the card. For part 3, these are more abstract, discussion-style questions. Practice giving extended, well-reasoned opinions. Think about different perspectives on issues. Learn phrases for agreeing, disagreeing politely, speculating, and comparing. Do mock interviews. If you can, practice with a teacher or a study partner who can act as the examiner and give you feedback. Beyond these skill-specific strategies, taking full mock tests under exam conditions is incredibly important as your test date approaches. This means doing all 4 sections back to back, listening, reading, writing with the correct timings. and then doing a speaking test. This builds your stamina, helps you refine your time management across all sections, and gets you used to the mental effort required. It will also highlight any remaining areas of weakness that you need to focus on in your final preparation. And let's not forget the mindset and well-being aspect of preparation. This is just as important as the academic side. Stay motivated. Remind yourself why you're taking IELTS and what achieving your target score will mean for you. Set small, achievable goals along the way and celebrate your progress. Deal with exam anxiety. It's normal to feel nervous. Practice relaxation techniques like deep breathing, positive visualization. Imagining yourself performing well can also help. Take regular breaks. Your brain needs time to process information and rest. Don't burn yourself out. Step away from your studies. Do something you enjoy. Get some fresh air. Get enough sleep, eat well, and exercise. A healthy body supports a healthy mind. This is crucial for concentration and learning. Believe in yourself. You've come this far. Trust in your preparation and your ability to perform. In the final week before your test, avoid cramming new material. Instead, focus on light review, perhaps redoing some practice questions you found tricky, or going over your notes on essay structures or vocabulary. Make sure you know the logistics for exam day, where the test center is, how you'll get there, what you need to bring. Your ID is essential. The night before, try to relax and get a good night's sleep. Preparing for IELTS is indeed a journey, one that requires commitment and smart strategies. But it's also an incredibly rewarding one, not just for the score you'll achieve, but for the improvement you'll see in your overall English language skills. Remember, every little bit of focused effort counts. If you're looking for structured guidance, detailed explanations of strategies for each question type, or even just some encouragement along the way, please do explore the resources we have available on our EducFlow channel. We're passionate about helping students like you navigate the IELTS journey successfully. So, embrace the challenge. Create a plan that works for you. Practice diligently and intelligently, and take care of yourself along the way. You have the potential to achieve your IELTS goals. Believe in that and put in the work, and you'll be well on your way. Thank you for joining me today. I hope these insights into IELTS preparation have been helpful and have given you a clearer path forward. I wish you all the very best with your studies and, of course, with your exam.